Counselor Knight and candidate Eichhorst. So
Are we the only folks with property that have showed up?
apparently so. We sent out, how many letters did you send out, Melanie?
10 or 12. I don't have the exact number with me.
Wow. Well, that shows that we're interested in participating. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Well, Counselor Parker, I don't know if you wanted to say anything before I turn it over to Stephen and Michael. If you do, you've got the floor.
Thank you. Nothing in particular, just to reiterate that the things that we're going to talk about or explain, my understanding is that nothing has changed since the last time we met. Just as a courtesy to the neighborhood, the village wanted to present everything just to make sure everyone had a complete understanding of what was about to happen so that there wasn't any surprises as if a wall had to be taken down or landscaping had to be adjusted. And Ron, if you'll just clarify if work has to be done on those properties, what the village's responsibility would be on that, I think would be helpful.
Okay, and we'll be doing that through the course of the explanation that Stephen and Michael will be giving. But we have had, we've had now one in-person meeting. We've had another Zoom meeting, and then this will be the third meeting. We put door hangers on the doors, advertising the second meeting and to a better audience. The first time we had an in-person meeting, we had one resident up, and that was in person in the council chambers, and Steve had all the drawings and maps laid out on the chamber, on a table in the chambers. And so there's just in general, and Steve and Michael can go into this in more detail, but we're looking at trying to meet what's required as far as our vision requirements when someone comes to an intersection, and that's going to 150, 260 to maybe a little over 300 square feet of access that will be required off I believe. I'll turn this over to Steve now and let him go into the detail that you want to hear.
Okay, good evening. My name is Steve Grolman. I'm a division manager with WH Pacific. We're an engineering firm in Albuquerque. We are the current on-call engineers for the village of Corrales. We are working on a plan to put a trail along the south side of West Meadowlark. It'll be 10 feet wide and it will be paved. I would like, Melanie, can you screen share the one that says side streets? I've sent 2 drawings to Melanie that we hope we can get on the screen so people can get a better idea of what it is I'm talking about. Okay, this is a portion of the subdivision Alhambra Aldeas, which is the subdivision on the south side of West Meadowlark between the main canal, or Loma Larga, and the Rio Rancho border. There are 5 access ways similar to this as you move along from the east side to the west side of the road. You will notice that the 2 southern parcels actually have a 20-foot wide easement out to the south side of West Meadowlark. Those 2 parcels at the south side are encumbered with that access easement, which is 40 feet wide when you hit the right-of-way at West Meadowlark. The 2 lots on the north side of each of these roads are not encumbered with that access way, and their frontage is 227 feet along the village right-of-way. So they really are kind of rectangular lots, and the access way is off to the side of those lots. As we put the path in along the south side of Meadowlark, we need to assure that people, when they come up to Meadowlark from the south, they can see to their left, to the west, and to their right, to the east. Melanie, if you could put the other screenshot up, please. The village code has developed a vision triangle to determine what is needed to safely see to your left and your right when you come to an intersection. Although in this case, that drawing is upside down based on what's at West Meadowlark, you can see that there's 25 feet cleared on the, let's call it the West Meadowlark right-of-way, and 25 feet down in each of those access ways. And then a triangle is drawn to connect those 2 points. And the way the code is written, nothing can be between 3 feet and 8 feet high in that vision triangle. So essentially, those 2 northern lots at each of those little roads need to clear 25 feet east or 25 feet west based on where they are in relation to the right-of-way, and then 25 feet south. I believe that the village has determined that whatever work needs to be done, the village will be picking up the expense and actually getting that work completed. So there would be no expense to the property owners. But those triangles need to be cleared, so if someone comes out from the south and they stop at the intersection, they get a good view to the left up the hill and a good view to the right down the hill. Please remember, once we put the path in, you're going to get pedestrians, you're going to get bicyclists, you're going to get joggers, you're going to get skateboarders, you're going to get kids on tricycles. In order to maintain a safe intersection, we need these triangles cleared. Probably 2 months ago at this point, I actually went out and put some stakes in the ground and did some paint marks and drove some rebar in some of the areas that would more clearly indicate where that 25-foot is. My measurements were approximate based off of property corners that I was able to find out at out the south boundary line of West Meadowlark. There are 10 properties affected, one on each side of the 5 roads that come from the south. And that really is, you know, I went over this briefly at the 2 meetings we had earlier, but this really hasn't changed since probably the beginning of last year when we knew this had to be taken care of. Ron, if you have anything you want to add, I just want to make clear that that is what we're looking at doing. And I think the village, the administration needs to contact each of those owners and make whatever arrangements they have to make in order to get these areas cleared.
Hey, Ron, would it be okay for me to share my screen? Ron's disappeared. Melanie, can I share my screen?
Let me give you permission here just a second.
Oh, permission.
Okay. I think you should be able to share now.
So what he is talking about is right here, just because I know how difficult it is to read bits and pieces of survey drawings. These are the 25-foot corners that'll be cut off. And so, without speaking out of turn, I do believe the village will go in and rectify something if it needs to change. And when they do that, they will repair the damage to it so that the homeowners will not have the burden of the cost to repair their landscaping or walls to meet this code on there. Is that an accurate sketch of what you guys are going to do out there? Am I making that up?
Yeah, from what I can see, that is a good scale. It certainly isn't a scaled drawing, but yes, those are the triangles we're looking to cut back.
Okay. And so Rick-
I have a question of clarification. I know that the village is going to pay to remove whatever is there within that triangle, but are you saying that they're also going to help us build a wall, help us complete our wall then to block that so that it doesn't, there is no wall in that triangle area?
Well, one thing that I'm not sure which property is yours.
We're the ones that are the closest to Loma Larga. And I think we're good to be here because we're going to be the first ones that are going to be pulling up. We're on Aldea Uno 1. That's our house right there. And so we have a corner that's mostly full of shrubberies.
Dead shrubbery.
Well, some of them are, but yeah. And so I guess my question before we start looking for a stucco company to, to carry our wall, because we're thinking we want to keep the safety and protection of having the wall, but part of that will come down. So I was just curious as to whether or not the village was, I know you're going to remove everything, but are you going to help us build our wall, or we need to be looking for someone to do that for us ourselves?
I'm not actually, I can't remember exactly how your property is, but I know some of them have they're like a shorter wall anyway.
Uh-huh.
So we're actually on our ordinance, anything over 3 feet or between 3 and 8 feet.
Yeah.
We need removed.
Okay, well, on the street side, we have a wall that comes up. I can point, yeah, right there.
The
And
stucco wall.
it's a stucco wall, comes up fairly high, and then there's a gap in it, and then there's another smaller post and out closer to the corner, which is over 3 feet, but not a whole lot over 3 feet. And then coming back down along the calle, it's all just barbed wire, our wire fence.
Wire.
Right.
And so what we were thinking of was putting a stucco wall on the diagonal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, I mean, we've already got the back part of it. It's just yeah,
So just the diagonal part.
just the diagonal
yeah.
part. All we've got a wall that goes all the way down.
Right,
Oh.
right. And then that would help to hold the gate up, to have something to attach it to.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to come all the way back to the gate. I think the post is a little further toward the road. But again, the question is, what we really want to do is put up a little cinder block coated in stucco wall.
Yeah,
I would like to have it pretty much the same height as the wall that goes along the rest of the stretch of West Meadowlark. So is that too much?
I would have to see it. I'm really not sure.
Yeah. You need to come out and yeah, we need to look at it and talk. Okay, that's kind of the main question is like, well, when?
Well, most of them that I've noticed would just actually having the wall lowered a little bit.
Uh-huh,
I'm not
Okay.
I don't remember exactly which wall was yours.
yeah.
But I
Well,
mean,
one of them, there's some, okay. Well, again, that's the kind of thing we need to come and talk about.
Right, no, this is all up for discussion. That's why we're here tonight.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what I can do also, because I'm gonna have to do this anyway, is contact each resident individually. So
Right.
we can go over this, but this is our project, so we do want to help.
Well, we're glad to hear that, and you can give us a call on our landline, and we'd be glad to meet you out there and measure it and talk about it. I think this is an important corner because of its proximity to the Loma Larga traffic. The other ones are all important as well, but I mean, folks are going to be coming up the hill, they're going to be going down the hill, they're going to be in their tricycles or whatever it is that they're going to do. And you know, Michael, I heard you mention at the last meeting that whatever we think they're going to do, they might do the opposite, you know? So the idea is just to have plenty of clearance down here as people start heading up the road. And then the bicycles are supposedly going to go down using the south lane, but they might. They might not. So yeah.
So
I'm covered here.
I have a quick question. So where, I don't know if you can see that I'm pointing right to the corner where your wall would end and then your street would begin. So there has to be a 25-foot, like
Right.
25 foot from that corner, like a 90-degree angle there of 25 feet and 25 feet.
Mhm,
Right, right,
mhm,
right,
mhm.
right. I think it's
Yeah,
20
we're
foot.
okay with that. We absolutely not a problem with that at all. Because mostly what's there is just shrubberies that the bunnies live in, and we've got more of those. Not a problem to give that to the city to do what you need for clearance. I guess our question is, we appreciate the fact that you're going to remove that stuff. There's that just a plain wire fence with wooden posts, but we're wanting to keep the integrity of our stucco wall if we can and go ahead and run that around. And any help would be helpful. Even if all you could do is give us the name of someone that you would trust to do a good job. We've been looking around, but we're really waited for this meeting before we start calling people, because we really want to know. Probably the next step is to meet with you, Michael, out here and go through it with a tape measure, whatever.
So Michael, just to clarify on there, if this is our intersection here and we've got a car, and we've got car here, and that's looking that way into the lot. If this wall here is greater than 3 feet, what you'll actually do is you're not going to take down the wall. You're just going to take down the portion so that it fits within the 25 feet, right?
We can do that, yes. We could also remove the whole thing if it's agreed upon.
Okay, so will that be up to the homeowner then to really what their preference would be? Or is it kind of going to be a, hey, let's work together to figure out a solution?
Each one of them, I think, is going to be handled individually because every single one of them is different.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I just want to make sure that everyone's aware of that there's some intent on how to solve this problem.
If you take out all the dead brush that's in there, then there is a good line of sight. Although again, the wall does come up to, well, it's more than 3 feet. I've got 4 feet, 4.5, something like that, along part of it. Also, there's a gap, and we had wired in a whole bunch of coyote fence there, which we want to have time to remove before things get torn down.
Right. This is truly unique to Corrales. The fact that every single calle is unique and different is just, that's what makes us special and unique. So it may be a pain in the, you know what, but it is definitely, and we want to work together. I think this could actually bring our community together here up on West Meadowlark. I hope.
We definitely appreciate your sentiment, because the task that the village has taken to accommodate as many people as possible on here, I know that they've been working very hard for it to find a solution that works for people's needs, but also creates a safe environment. So it's nice of you to say that.
Yeah, I just appreciate what Councilor Parker said, and what I'll reiterate what Michael said as well, is that Wanda, of this village is her, and we're going to try to work with each individual one to make sure that cost and everything else that the village takes on as much as we possibly can, because this is a project that you probably well know that's been hanging around for
Wow.
when I was young.
15, we've only been here 14 years, but
Well, I
seems
think
most of it.
it predates you. That- and there's all sorts of fingerprints all over this thing going way back past 2 decades, I think.
Wow.
And so, and I'll throw a little kudo to Michael, is that throughout all of this is that he's made sure that he wants to have good communications before we start on this, because one of the things that we're always concerned about is that, and we've have the communication, is that we're always concerned that we start a project like this, even though we've communicated, and then somebody will pop up and say, I didn't know this was happening. I didn't know this was going on. And then the goodwill and the hard work that we've tried to put in and the understanding that you've tried to put in comes to a stop. And we're trying very hard to not have that happen.
And then just to do a quick explanation in case Canada Ike Horse is not totally 100% up to speed on this, is that bicycles will come down the road in the path of the cars. Bicycles will go up on a bike path on the south side, and the pedestrians will also be on this side, but it's wide enough to accommodate everybody. And then on the north side, nothing will be done. And this would be for the horses on that side. And I think that's the quick and dirty explanation on what's going to happen on that.
Kind of unrelated, but it is related. Because all along that wall, our wall, up and down the whole, because we walk up and down and to pick up the trash about once a week. All along is just so much puncture weed, goat's heads. And it seems like if you're going to have a bike trail, that you really need to get those out of there. But again, that's unrelated, but
So
That's
when they
why
go-
it's gonna be paved, honey.
Yeah, when they go in there and pave it, they'll be gone.
good, good.
Yay.
I love the Google Earth.
Oh, it's great.
It's powerful.
It is. This is a fairly new Google, isn't it?
This one's from 1022. Here's 1021, but it was fuzzy, so I didn't use it.
Oh,
Here's 921, still a little fuzzy.
yeah.
There.
It's
No,
great.
that's real
That's
clear.
wonderful. Great to see.
Well, does anyone have any questions or need further clarification on any of this?
So there'll only be 5 cahiers or roads affected. What about anything else going west?
There are 3 driveways further to the west. They are not required to have the vision clearance, although those driveways really do have a very wide apron. If you've noticed it, one of them is almost 50 feet wide.
Yeah.
So our concern at that point is not so much vision clearance. We just need to make sure that none of the water that runs in the trail
Yeah,
heads south.
Right.
So that all the water that gets picked up on the asphalt continues either east down to Loma Larga, or at a couple of places, we're going to divert it actually out into the road. So it goes into those median structures.
Nice.
Don't forget that the middle of that trail is going to be an inch or 2 lower than what's out there now. So it will be catching the water and bringing it away from the properties that are south of it.
Okay.
When do you expect it to start working on this phase of the road?
We have to get the quote from the contractor. I'm gonna get with him tomorrow. I have a bunch of other projects we're working on, so we're gonna talk about this tomorrow. Try to get a timeline. And what we're discussing is probably going in with the curb first, which that does have to go in first anyway. But we can get going on that, but we do need to go ahead and get these sight lines settled and know what we're gonna do there.
What Michael is saying, and I completely agree with him, we can't put the path in until the vision triangles are already created.
Hmm.
It would not be prudent to build the path and then start messing around with creating a way of being able to see who's on the path.
Right.
You need to get the triangles cleared first.
Mhm.
Well, we're here and ready to talk whenever.
Rick and Wanda, I like your positive attitude. Good for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's all a part of being one community, you know, and working together. It's been something that's been a vision and a dream for people for years. And so actually being able to be a part of making that happen is exciting to us.
Well, again, we appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Well, Steve, do you have anything else that you want to add
Nope.
to? Michael?
No, we just want to make this as easy for everyone as possible, and I'll be out. I'll try to get out first part of next week and meet with everybody.
So when do you expect, I wouldn't say the right word is ribbon cutting. Maybe when can the residents expect to see some?
You know, I really can't say until we get these sight lines, the vision triangles. I don't know what we're gonna run into.
Michael, you also got to do some drain work on Loma Larga.
And that we're set up to start.
Would it be appropriate to have some sort of public ceremony that we could have maybe in late March, just where we're out there having a symbolic shovel of dirt turn before Councilor Parker leaves his position and Mayor Roque leaves her position?
Yeah, we could do that. And that's why I'm trying to see if we maybe start the curb. But I don't want to sit there with a curb and nothing else either, so. I'll get a feel with the residents when I talk to them, see how this is gonna move.
Yeah, because I know the mayor has been particularly interested in, you know, since this project is so languished, I guess is the correct word, or been problematic, maybe is another word that we could use.
Oh, believe
And
Both of those words are good words.
yeah,
Right.
and you know, and then we went through the issue of kind of defunding some of the project with the feds. And that in itself was an effort so that we could have these conversations without having them looking over our shoulder and telling us
Right.
to have these conversations. And so hopefully we'll have something in late March that we could at least show some action that we're beginning something, even though it may be a small attempt to do that.
Yeah, oh no, I want this off my plate.
Well, if no one else has anything to add, then I would just like to thank you all for participating, and we will make note of the fact that this can be seen on our YouTube site, or on our website so that people who did not be able to attend will be able to look at this. We'll maybe make a note in the mayor's message that will be coming out tomorrow. I don't know if that's still possible, Melanie, to do that.
Yeah, the mayor's message goes out Friday morning, so we should be able to get that in there, not a problem.
Does candidate Eichhorst, do you have anything that you would like to add or say?
No, this was extremely educational and I'm very glad I was on. And Councilman Parker, thank you for the clarification on the walkway and the pedestrian and the equestrian lane. That was really helpful. Thanks.
And Councilor Knight, would you like to have any final thoughts before we sign off?
No, I just appreciate all the work that Mr. Groman and Mike Chavez have done over the years to get this going. Like I said, I think the two words that you used were perfect, languished and
Problematic.
problematic. There you go. Thank you. I had a senior moment here. So, yeah.
And Councilor Parker, any last things from you?
No, just thank you everyone who works the 9 to 5 for staying here so late, and the folks that are at home, thanks for taking the time to log in, and it's nice to see all these smiling faces out there. So anyway, enjoy the rest of your evening.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Have a good evening.